Washington Wizards have agreed to send Chris Paul to the Golden State Warriors, Poole, and 2 future draft picks, breathing room, and working on a contract extension with Draymond Green, who they simply do not want to lose. Warriors team that has some difficult financial decisions to make.
We got some breaking news on another huge trade, and I want to thank Adam Silver because this new CBA is completely shaking up the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. So we are doing a live NBA draft stream later on today. Make sure you're subscribed and turn on our notifications to enter for a chance to win $1,000 between 5 subscribers that have our notifications on. And now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The NFL and NBA season are officially over, and I need something to hold me over until at least the NFL season comes back. So I've been playing prize picks for the WNBA and the MLB, and I've been fairly successful. It's a good way to get some extra action on games that I wouldn't really watch otherwise. I post my picks onto my Instagram story daily, and I've been hitting on a decent amount of them. And right now, when you use my promo code microphone, they'll double your deposit up to $100. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. We're in for one hell of an upload day today. The Golden State Warriors found themselves in some pretty big trouble. Following winning the 2022 NBA championship through a resurgent Big Three and a fresh youth infusion, including contributions from players like Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole, the Golden State Warriors were riding sky high during the 2022 offseason. And then, unfortunately, Draymond Green decided to punch the living daylights out of Jordan Poole, and clearly this past season, things weren't going as well for the Golden State Warriors. Whether if it was off the court, clearly because, well, Draymond Green punched the living daylights out of Jordan Poole, or if it was on the court where you just saw uninspired play from Jordan Poole, you also would see clips of Draymond Green trying to hype up Jordan Poole throughout difficult times. Jordan Poole just looked uninspired, and there was a huge question about what the future of this Warriors team is going to look like. Bob Myers stepped down. Our primary theory on this channel as to why he stepped down was because the Warriors may have had to decide to completely overhaul its roster. After all, their big three is getting up there in years. They're all approaching their mid-30s. You can make a very legitimate argument that their best years are behind them, except Steph Curry, who still somehow, someway continues to play masterfully. So with that being said, Bob Myers eventually stepped down, and our theory was because he had to make a choice between rebuilding or continuing forward. In comes brand new general manager Mike Dunleavy Jr., who needs to learn a brand new CBA in order to keep this luxury tax-paying team competitive. And his very first obstacle was dealing with the impending free agency of Draymond Green and also next year's free agency of Klay Thompson. Now, Draymond Green already opted out, so this kind of gave us a glimpse into the future of the Golden State Warriors. And the Warriors are pretty much stuck with a choice. Do we keep our young talent and build around players like Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, or do we try to get another solid piece to assist Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green moving forward so we could deliver one more championship to the Golden State Warriors? Now that I'm thinking about it, it seems like Draymond Green's opt-out may have been a power move, maybe a means of saying, hey, it's either me or Jordan Poole. That's just some speculation. We're not entirely sure. Less than a week ago during the offseason, Mike Dunleavy Jr. said that the Golden State Warriors were going to choose youth. They were planning on keeping Jordan Poole on the roster for 4 more years.
And those guys here, Jordan, especially with his contract extension, plan to have him here for 4 more years at least. You know, our front office, our coaching staff are figuring out what works. So
it seems like he changed his mind, because today we got breaking news that the Washington Wizards and the Golden State Warriors have finalized a crazy trade. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, the Washington Wizards are finalizing a deal to send Chris Paul to the Golden State Warriors for a package that includes Jordan Poole and future draft assets. So Shams Charania has the full deal for us, and the package is insane. So according to Shams, Washington and Golden State are close on a trade, sending Chris Paul to the Warriors for Jordan Poole, sources tell The Athletic, and the stadium. The Warriors are sending Jordan Poole a protected first-round pick in 2030 and a second-rounder in 2027 to the Wizards for Chris Paul. Golden State is also trading 2022 second-round pick Ryan Rollins to Washington as part of the Poole CP3 deal. So let's break this trade down. A lot of people are saying, Mike, this doesn't make sense. Chris Paul has a fit next to Steph Curry. I don't know if it's going to work out. On one hand, I think Chris Paul and Steph Curry are going to make for an awesome combination. I mean, you have the playmaking and ball handling ability of Chris Paul. You have Steph Curry running around screens. If Chris Paul gets injured, I still think the Golden State Warriors are going to be okay. At the very, very minimum, I'm sorry to say, what Chris Paul could bring to the Golden State Warriors is a significant improvement to the inconsistency that was Jordan Poole and any potential bad blood and chemistry that was in the locker room as a result of Jordan Poole's presence. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to be saying, Mike, you're being melodramatic. Draymond Green didn't get Jordan Poole traded. But Draymond Green didn't necessarily do a good job hiding the fact that he wasn't a huge fan of the young talent on the Golden State Warriors, most likely Jordan Poole. I mean, look at this podcast that he had with Steve Kerr, for instance.
A huge three in the fourth quarter tonight. And it's like, none of those guys on Miami are sitting there saying, well, I didn't play, or man, they put in so and so. Like, they're just all about winning. And you know this from our groups that we've had. When you have that championship mentality, every guy's bought in, every guy's just trying to win. Nobody cares about any of that stuff. You don't go into the locker room, saying, well, I should have played more. You just want to win. And that's the beauty of finding that magic when you have a championship team, is that everybody's bought in, and it makes the decisions for the coach really simple. You just go with your gut and go with whoever's playing well.
And I know we showed you footage of Mike Dunleavy Jr. quite literally contradicting himself, but you have to admit, it seems like the Golden State Warriors understand the importance of Draymond Green to this team. He is the engine that makes the Warriors go. I know you look at his stat sheet and you're like, okay, Mike, I don't really think this Draymond Green guy is that good. He's washed. He barely does anything for this team offensively. In terms of the Golden State Warriors system, Draymond Green's known for his toughness, him playing defense, his ability to trash talk and get into other players' heads. But I think that comes all secondary to the fact that he is quite literally the leader of the Golden State Warriors. But most importantly, his versatility as a forward is the engine that makes the Golden State Warriors tick. They wouldn't be the team that they are now if it wasn't for Draymond Green's ability to play the small ball four to allow Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to do what they currently do. And it seems like the Warriors acknowledge that, and even Mike Dunleavy Jr. acknowledged that.
You said there aren't that many huge decisions to make, but obviously most of us on the way driving over here heard about Draymond opting out. And one, were you expecting that? And two, I mean, you are getting thrown kind of right into the fire of a pretty critical summer for this team as terms of what it's going to look like in the future. Just, are you prepared for that? And again, were you surprised about Draymond?
Yeah, so I saw the report too. Until we get the paperwork and the filing, we can't really comment or say much. So I will say, I think Steve has said it, and I'll reiterate, we really want Draymond back. What he means to this organization, this team, in terms of trying to win at the highest level, we feel like we have to have him. So that's very important. Beyond that, yeah, I mean, I think a lot can be made of all the challenges that are coming our way, whether it be aging roster, the new CBA with some of the limitations there, anything else you can bring up. But we're aware of all those things, but we also feel like we're in a great place because we've got a competitive owner willing to spend, and a group that's really tied in. It's got good synergy, good processes, good sound decision making. So we feel confident we can navigate it.
Let's just forget about everything on the court. We discussed the brand new CBA a lot on this channel. It's something that we're going to have to get used to. It's going to be way harder for teams to exceed that second luxury tax apron and build competitive rosters because you're no longer allowed to have an MLE. You're no longer allowed to sign buyout players. So it's very, very difficult to build a competitive roster in that regard. So the Warriors are stuck. Because when the Warriors extended Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole, at the time it was perceived to be a bargain. And then the details of the new CBA came out and the Warriors were in some hot water. Jordan Poole was no longer worth the price tag, unfortunately, and they needed to get out of that contract. Jordan Poole signed a 4-year, $128 million contract 1 year ago. He will be under contract till the 2026-2027 season, and then he'll enter free agency once again. When you compare that to Chris Paul's contract, Chris Paul is on a partially guaranteed deal this year for the 2023 to 2024 season, and then his deal is non-guaranteed next year, which means at the very, very bare minimum, even if Chris Paul's a downgrade, at the very minimum, you're getting out of Jordan Poole's contract and you're no longer going to exceed that second tax apron, which also gives you a lot more space in the event that you want to sign Jonathan Kuminga in the future to a rookie max. I don't necessarily know if that's their plan, but this is a brilliant move for the Golden State Warriors in the sense that, one, they upgrade their roster, they get something that they really need, which is a brilliant high IQ basketball player in the form of Chris Paul that should bring a brand new dimension to their offense. I mean, just as a basketball fan, I can't wait to see Chris Paul in the Golden State Warriors offense. That should be so much fun to watch. And this is coming from a Laker fan, by the way. I can't wait to watch this happen. But two, this should bring back Draymond Green, because I bet you Draymond Green for damn sure wants to come back to the Golden State Warriors now that Jordan Poole's gone. And three, at the very minimum, this is a net positive in terms of on-court product, in terms of getting new jersey sales. There's a lot of Chris Paul fans out there. In terms of exciting your fan base, this definitely does that. In terms of saving money, this does that as well. I don't think it was an overpay at all whatsoever, and this works out for all parties. The Washington Wizards have had a very difficult offseason. You pretty much had to pay additional capital to move on from Bradley Beal. Everyone's memeing you mercilessly for this. So the fact that they were able to, at the very minimum, come out of this offseason with a player that they could actually build around moving forward, Bradley Beal and Denny Avdia, I don't necessarily know if Kyle Kuzma is going to come back. Maybe they overpay to retain Kyle Kuzma. I'm not necessarily sure. At least there's a blueprint that makes sense. It's about time the Wizards got realistic about their future. Jordan Poole going to the Washington Wizards might be just what he needs in order to have a successful career. I wouldn't be surprised if we started to see the old Jordan Poole. He's no longer overshadowed by the likes of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and a man that quite literally punched him in his face. This is a win for Jordan Poole. This is a win for the Washington Wizards. This is a win for Chris Paul, and it's a win for the Golden State Warriors. This is going to bring back Draymond Green. So there's virtually no losers in this trade. So let me know in the comment section down below how you guys feel about this pairing. I am very excited to see Chris Paul and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green in an offense together. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.